Bibliophiles of the Internet. My name is Adriana and today I'm here to review my year in 2015. Just as a clarification, this video has no relation to my favorite books of 2015 video, which I will be making in January. I just thought this was a good chance to reflect on my year as a whole and to try and preserve some of those things I really don't want to forget. I think I'll start with the personal, academic, professional, non-book related stuff and then work my way into some 2015 reading stats, so let's get started. 2015 was a huge year for me, so let's just start with that. In terms of academics, as many of you know, I am a creative writing major, and 2015 was my first full year in the program from January to December because I only just transferred to my university in fall of 2014. So this was my first full year, and I even took summer courses, so I was just constantly producing work all year long. And that's been very valuable for me because it's pushed me to have a very productive writing year. I've done at least 5 short stories, 7 nonfiction essays, and anywhere between 20 and 25 poems this year alone. I'm not saying it's good writing, I'm not saying it's usable or publishable, and yes, I had to write many of those pieces under duress because I had to write them for credit, but at the end of the day, those words belong to me, those pieces belong to me, those thoughts and ideas are mine, and I was able to articulate them on the page, and that's why they matter to me. And ultimately, I was able to learn from those pieces, which is really what's important. My writing has grown exponentially in the last year alone. It's practically unrecognizable from where I was just 2 years ago. So I'm just really happy with my choices, with my work, with the program I'm in, and with everything that I'm doing. And ultimately, I'm excited to see what else I can learn in the time I have left. Speaking of school, at the end of 2015, I applied to no more and no less than 7 MFA programs for the year of 2016. I'm not saying I'm going to get into any of those programs, but that would be such a great opportunity. And more importantly, I made it through the grueling, trying, draining, demoralizing process of applying to all of those schools, and that's what's important. It's important that I tried, and that's what I want to remember. Plus, even though I know I don't need to be in an MFA program to be a successful writer, that would be such a great opportunity and really such invaluable writing time. So even though the chances may be small, I'm glad I didn't give in to the doubt in my mind, and I pushed through and I went for it. Then amidst all this craziness, one of my recommenders suggested that I submit something to one of the literary journals that is hosted through my university. So I sent in a poem, and in a crazy twist of events, it has been accepted and will be published in 2016. I know it's not exactly the Pulitzer Prize, but it does matter to me because I just made it through this extremely trying time in my life full of self-doubt and self-loathing, wherein I questioned all of my values and choices. So this was just like the slight nudge of validation that I really, really needed, and it shows me that my writing resonates with at least someone and that I'm doing the right thing, and that matters to me a lot. So exciting things to look forward to in 2016, and I will most likely be submitting a couple more pieces to some other journals at the start of the year as well. The last thing I want to discuss in terms of my writing is the fact that it got me a freaking job in 2015. This year I got my first real job through my university writing program as a writing tutor, or a writing consultant as they like to call me, and I love what I do. And now I have a job that I really love, and I do work that is extremely rewarding. I help students become better writers, and that is everything. It's been such a great fit for me and such a great opportunity. I'm so thankful and happy, so I would definitely say that was one of the highlights of 2015. And one last personal highlight that has nothing to do with writing or academics or my professional life, but 2015 was the year I discovered K-pop and fell down the K-pop rabbit hole, and my life has been infinitely better ever since. Is it scientifically proven that K-pop makes you happier? Because I feel like it does. In an extreme case of irony, I was introduced to K-pop in a course entitled The History of Rock and Roll in America, and K-pop has absolutely nothing to do with American rock and roll, but I think it came up because we were discussing Asian influences in popular music, so my professor put on a Big Bang video, and it was all over from there. So So I just thought I would mention that 2015 was the year I discovered the true joys of listening to K-pop, and I really took to some of the bigger groups like EXO, Big Bang, Bangtan Boys, and of course VIXX. I really like VIXX. My music library definitely expanded to include some great songs from Halsey, Troye Sivan, Old Codex, Local Connect, Galileo Galilei, and so many more. And before we get to the book-related stats for 2015, very quickly I wanted to mention my favorite animes that I saw in 2015. So in no particular order, here they are. Cute High Earth Defense Club Love because magical boys, Haikyuu Season 1 because it's my second favorite sports anime, Anohana for destroying me and completely breaking my heart, Death Parade for being incredible and thought-provoking and also having one of the best opening themes I've heard all year, Hibike Euphonium because music anime, because marching band, because symphonic band, and because brass playing lesbians. You cannot convince me otherwise. Zankyou no Terror because I wanted to rewatch the entire series the very second the last episode ended. Ore Monogatari for being such an important and worthwhile love story. Arslan Senki for just being incredible across the board. The Free Eternal Summer Special for being everything I needed in my life and more. And of course Hunter x Hunter 2011 for being my new coping mechanism and also ruining me for good. Quickly now, let's go through some bookish stats of 2015. In 2015, I arbitrarily set my Goodreads challenge at 130 books as the year went on. I have since surpassed that at 139 books. I may read a couple more, I may not. We'll see what happens. In total so far, I have read 36,375 pages. For my longest book of the year, I have a tie, and it's kind of crazy because one of these books I really didn't like and the other one I loved. So at 672 pages each, I have The Final Empire by Brandon Sanderson and The Last Ever After by Somen Chainani. For my shortest book of the year, of course, I have a comic issue, and that was the first issue of the new Archie. In 2015, I took part in 13 buddy reads. I thought this was worth mentioning because I came out of one of those, Captive Prince and Princess Gambit, with a best friend, and that was Ivan from Sona Azura, in case you couldn't guess. This year I checked out 29 books from my library, actually 31 if you count the 2 books I picked up the other day. I love supporting my local library, so I'm pretty proud about that. In 2015, I read 11 nonfiction books. I also read 36 graphic novels and comics as well. Of the books I read, 31 of them were manga volumes, so I'm happy about that. In 2015, I read 15 middle grade or kid lit books, and I would love to see that number go up even higher in 2016. This year, I read over 60 books that were either written by people of color or diverse authors. I thought I would add the qualifier of diverse authors just to include non-English speaking authors, non-American authors, and of course, queer authors. This year, I also read 41 translated works, and yes, that does include manga, and no, that number does not account for repeat authors, but still. In 2015, I read 12 books that qualify as queer lit, and of course, I would love to increase that number in 2016 as well. This year, I also reread 3 books, and those include Howl's Moving Castle by Diana Wynne Jones, Aristotle and Dante Discover the Secrets of the Universe by Benjamin Elera Sainz, and Harry Potter and the Sorcerer's Stone by J.K. Rowling and Jim Kay. So that's kind of how 2015 breaks down. I hope you enjoyed the book-related stats as well as the non-book-related stuff and listening to some of my more personal highlights for the year as well. Let me know in the comments what were some of the highlights of this past year for you. They can be book-related, they can be not book-related. I would just love to hear about your 2015. But that is everything I had for this year in review video today. Thank you so much for watching. I really hope that you enjoyed it, and I will catch you on the flip side of the page.